of the School of Social Sciences, I, Sudhir Paranjpe, Secretary of the school, welcome all of you to this 3-video presentation in which Professor Jeevan Mukhopadhyay, former Chief Economic Advisor to the Tata Group, subsequently Professor at the SP Jain Institute of Management and Research, and currently a consultant on economics and governance to corporates. Professor Mukhopadhyay will speak first about the pandemic, its scope, its hardships and its deaths, and in the second video he will touch upon the package announced by the Government of India for alleviating the hardships of this pandemic, and then in the end he will also speak about his future prognosis of the coming days after the pandemic is overcome and economic life returns to so-called normal. In the end, I will come back with a video summing up and giving our thanks to all of you and Professor Mukhopadhyay. Welcome, Professor Jeevan Mukhopadhyay.
Good afternoon, Dr. Paranjpe. Thank you very much for inviting me for your program organized by India School of Social Science to discuss about the great lockdown leading to the Great Recession and the disastrous impact of this lockdown on Indian economy. As you know, it is important to understand the number of coronavirus affected cases. Globally, for the last 3 months, it has been growing. By tomorrow, the global number of the total cases would be 10 million, and the number of deaths would be 500,000. 500,000, that is a huge number of people have been already dead. And by tomorrow, India's number would be also 500,000 total cases, and the number of deaths would be 16,000 plus. 1/3 of India's total cases are in Maharashtra, and more than 50% of Maharashtras are in the city of Mumbai, the financial and business capital of the country, home for more than about 20 million people if you consider the outer areas, MMR areas. Half of these people live in slums, and as a result you find that number of the affected cases have been increasing very fast. Many areas which was otherwise absolutely green now have become already red. So as a result of this, we find that in the next about 15 days, this number for India is going to grow hugely. Already it is increasing by 16,000 per day. What is going to happen by another 15 days or so is anybody's guess. But the point is that as a result of more than 3 months of the lockdown, there has been a huge impact on the economy. Globally speaking, many expert bodies like IMF, OECD, World Bank and many others have been projecting that there is going to be a massive recession. As such a deep recession has not happened in about 100 years history of the world. And as a result of this, according to the very latest prediction, the prediction has been changed almost every week. IMF's April prediction has already been revised 2 days back. And we find that the global growth rate is going to be a negative almost 5%, negative 5% this year. And for USA it is going to be negative 8%. For European Union it is going to be a negative 10%. For us in our country it is going to be a negative 4.5%. The only country which will have a positive rate is the Republic of China, 1% positive. So as a result of this decline, you find that Western European countries and USA has been completely devastated. The number of unemployment in the US has grown to 47 million. 47 million unemployed by now. In our country, nobody bothers about all these issues. Who's employed or unemployed, I think it is not an issue very much as far as our governance is concerned. Simple point is that as a result of this great recession, this economy, Indian economy, would have a massive problem. There are some characteristics issue relating to this economy. As you know that in our country, more than 50% of Indians, 1.3 billion people, out of that 50% of that are poor. You go by the World Bank's definition of PPP, $2 per capita per day. And if you are slightly above the poverty level, you are still poor. So these people, they have to earn they have to earn on a daily basis. Most of them, and many of them for the last 3 months have not been earning. So this is an important issue relating to Indian economy we would like to discuss. At the time we are going to discuss about the comprehensive Atmanirbhar package announced by Government of India, by the Prime Minister, with a number of installments. We are going to discuss that in the next video. Thank you very much. As a result of this more than 3 months of the lockdown, when people are holed up at home, economic activities come to a standstill. There is an issue about how to feed these people who are very poor. So government has announced a series of packages in various installments. The first was that it was in March 26, rupees 1.75 lakh crores of rupees package was announced. Then subsequently thereafter, a comprehensive, as I said before, Atmanirbhar package was announced by the Prime Minister, followed by the Finance Minister, giving the details in a few tranches. Total number of the package in terms of the equivalent amount of rupees is 20 lakh crores of rupees, which is 20 trillion or equivalent to $265 billion. For our economy, this is a huge amount of the package. But if you are under the impression that all this money has been transferred to the people, you are wrong. Only a small part of that, less than 2%, has been direct money transfer. And that is just about 33,000 plus crores of rupees, some of which will go to the poor farmers, some of which will go to the Jan Dhan the bank account for the poor people, and some of this will go to some other direct beneficiaries for pension for the poor people in the rural areas, or disabled people and all that. So the direct transfer of money is just about less. But what is unique about this package is that this package covers a huge area of the economy. It covers the land, it covers the labor, it covers various other activities, the few tranches. Starting with, for example, MSMEs, that is the micro, small and medium-sized industries, which provide the lifeline of Indian economy. They produce huge amount of industrial output and also export produce. These industries have been already under problem, first because of the demonetization, when they have been already shut down. They had an issue relating to cash problems. These industries work on the basis of cash. Daily transaction happens in cash, and that gave a kind of a death blow to many of these small industries. Thereafter came these coronavirus cases. So before our recovering for the blow coming out of the demonetization came this blow coming out of the coronavirus cases. 3 months of stoppage of activity ruined them practically. Simple point is that they were provided by the government liquidity, interest-free government guaranteed loans. But point is that only when they will open, they will be able to access this. And as of now, the economy is that it is a kind of a paradox, that whether demand will rise fast or production will rise fast. If you want to open up, you need working capital. You may get a loan, all right, but the point is that you are scared to get this loan, and how many of them would be able to open up in The full capacity is absolutely doubtful. So liquidity has been made available, good idea, but how much of this would be implemented is not really known. Then these tranches comes in other areas like defense, your power, your PF related issues. It comes in the area of extension of the contract. It comes in the area of easing of doing business and all that related issues, which is good. Simple point is that the government has not spent for the budget. Like all other economy, almost $3 trillion has been spent by the US economy, which is a rich country. But in our case, the issue was that some experts, including some of the Nobel laureates, have suggested that there should be direct transfer of income to the poor people. But the simple point is that this is going to be printing of money, which means that you will have to borrow money from Reserve Bank of India by printing money. Now, how are you going to do this transfer to whom? How much? Suppose you want to transfer 20,000 rupees to the poor people of India or to the unemployed. How we are going to identify them? How we are going to transfer this money? How we are going to identify the real beneficiary? And once you introduce, there are enough thugs in our country to make a loot of this, and all money would be absolutely gone. And as a result, you find that in the next year, immediately thereafter, there is going to be hyperinflation. And so the suggestion coming from the great economist, I think, were good that it was not really seriously taken by the government. The other point is that then how we are going to help these people? So some issues were there relating to the migrant labor, some issue relating to the agriculture. Agriculture has been always a kind of a non-performing, and the corona cases have not impacted them directly. But what has happened as a result of the lockdown, their produce could not reach market, so farmers didn't get an income. And as a result, we found that huge quantities of food grains, huge quantities of milk, huge quantities of fruits and vegetables were rot, or it was thrown away on the roads. Farmer didn't get an income from their investment. So agriculture is always a problem area. But yet, it is important to realize that more than 50% of Indian, the people, they live on agriculture one way or the other for their livelihood. So we need to do something about this agriculture, which is a separate issue. About industry, I have deeply mentioned. I need not much discussed about the large-scale industry. They can manage themselves. In any case, they have started already unemploying the people. They are reducing their employees. All over the world, in fact, many of the companies, airline business and all that, they have started sacking people because they cannot run their show. In our case also, this would be an important issue. So simple point is that economy is an issue. What has been decided by the government, a package which doesn't have much of a direct spending, but some of the old schemes have been refashioned, some of the new scheme has been introduced in terms of availability of the liquidity, interest rate has been reduced, tax breaks has been given, and some other advantages were made available, which are all facilitating in nature. How much they are going to help and impact, we will see in the next few months. It is too early to say. By now, there has been an opening up of the economy. The issue was that whether you want to be under lockdown because of the coronavirus infection, or you would also like to leave. Unless you start your economic activity, the huge number of daily workers, huge number of people, millions and millions all over India, unless they work, how they are going to survive, and no government can really help them with any amount of money. So they have to come to work, and that increases the risk of infection. So we are living in a kind of a paradox. How we are going to handle this issue is being addressed. There are all kinds of experts who has actually proved to be not of much use. You have to use your common sense, who are running the business, who are running the government, who are thinking about the people. They should come forward with a practical idea, implementable idea to help people to come out of this economic recession. Thank you very much. A number of issues has come to the surface as a result of this lockdown. One important issue relates to migrant labor. Migrant labor has been coming from places like Bengal, Bihar, UP, some parts of also Chhattisgarh, Orissa. They were going to the reasonably well-off states like Maharashtra, Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala. They used to work there for long hours, live in a very dilapidated condition, earn a small amount of income, and transfer money order, a large chunk of that, to their families at home in their respective states. They add value to the economy in the states in which they have been working. Without them, many of these economic activities would come to a standstill. The simple point is that they had to travel because in their own state there was not opportunity grown, even in the last 7 decades. And when they came to the state after the lockdown, they found that they had lost their income, they had nowhere to go, and they will have to go back home. Initially, they were held up, and some parts of the government offices, political parties, NGOs, they tried to help them out with food. But how to go back home? So many of them decided to go on foot for long distance, about 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers. And many died on the road. It's a tragedy, human tragedy, not sin, after the partition of Bengal and Punjab after independence in 1947. When they reached home by train eventually, arranged by the government, they were not welcome there because they thought that they would be carrier of the coronavirus. It's important to realize this important issue that migrants are 140 million in our census, in our economy. They move about and they add value to the economy. And when they are in trouble, it should be addressed too. How to handle this particular issue is an important issue. Now, when the restoration of economy would come up, economic wheels of the economy will start moving, these people will again go back to the places where they can earn an income. Why there was no income growth in their own state? What the government has been doing all this year. These are important issues to address too, but these are larger issues. It has to be considered right now because they have come to the surface now. The other most important and large issue is that agriculture. Agriculture has been not performing well in our economy because trend rate of growth of agriculture value added is just about less than 3%. If you want to double-digit growth, then rate of growth of agriculture value added has to be more than 4%. The contribution of agriculture to GDP has been coming down from 56% in 1950s, early 50s, to just about 15% last year. But at the same time, the dependence of agriculture is huge. More than 50% of Indians still they depend on agriculture for their livelihood. This growth of economy for the last 2 decades, what has happened, has not added to the employment. Organized sector employment remains static at 29 million at best, and it has not grown. The employment is in the informal sector. The larger part of employment still today is in agriculture, and unless agriculture moves, many of the issues relating to employment or even overall income growth cannot be addressed properly. So it's an important issue for the state governments because agriculture is a state subject. Union government can supervise over it. The way power sector reform was introduced, agriculture requires an intervention from the union government and the state government coming up together to organize an agenda because without agriculture the lifeline would stop. There are some other issues. One ironical issue is that despite the oil price, crude oil price globally coming down, it's just about $35 per barrel. It has been coming down for the last 3-4 years steadily, but in our country, price at the retail end of petrol and diesel has been increasing. Actually, for the last 19 days, every day it has increased. And whatever you pay at the retail price and to the petrol pump, 70% of that goes to state and union government as taxes or cess. Because government is starved of revenue. Direct and indirect tax revenues are coming down as a result of the lockdown, it is absolutely low. So is the GST collection. So simple point is that there is a scarcity of revenue, and this is an opportunity for the government to extract some amount of revenue from the user of petrol and diesel at the retail end. It's ironic, but simple point is that oil price, sometime in the future oil price could be negative. Like what has happened in the last month in USA, the Texas, West Texas intermediate price came down to, the future price came down to negative 37 dollars per barrel. Negative price means that when you have done a future contract that at particular date you are going to lift oil, you are asked to lift oil before that, and the supplier will pay you money because they do not have enough space to keep the oil. So eventually US government decided to buy up $75 million, 75 million barrels of oil, as a result of which this issue relating to negative oil price in futures have been handled. But simple point, in our country, this issue that we pay much higher price compared to many other countries at the retail end. How to handle this issue? It has to be resolved someday, soon. The other point is that because of the closure of the economy due to this great lockdown, we find that companies after companies are filing for bankruptcy. Companies are being closed, employees are being thrown out. In our country also it is happening. Many companies have started to sack employees. Even the organized sector, the large, the reputed companies are doing so. The work from home has become a new practice. The simple point is that if you work from home, all kinds of work cannot be done from home. Some work you can do, and those who do, companies, they overload them with huge work, and they have to be on the screen with their laptop for more than 12 hours a day. These are important issues. There are many other issues which has come to the surface right now. When the new normalcy will be established, there will be some such issues which we will have to address. If we keep this in our mind, if the government keep these issues in their mind, then some solution would come through. As people, as citizens, we also have our duty to apply our mind to all these issues in a neutral and objective kind of a manner, so that these issues over a period of time can be resolved. And unless these issues are resolved, economy cannot grow smoothly, and income distribution also cannot reach a level which would be satisfactory and acceptable to all. Thank you very much.
Jeevan Mukhopadhyay, thank you very much for your thought-provoking and elaborate presentation in video form, because we cannot meet in person. It is especially good to see an insider's view of what is the ground situation, what government has contemplated, and how it will meet the requirements. The fact is that just as this pandemic has silenced the hum of economic activity, it has also opened our eyes and ears and thoughts to the beautiful nature that surrounds us, as we have seen in the visibility of Himalayan peaks from faraway Chandigarh, as well as the appearance of species of butterflies which had never been seen or thought to have become extinct. We now come to the gravity of the human tragedy that is unfolding and that needs to be addressed head on. What is being disclosed, along with the beauties of nature and the clarity of the blue sky, is the contradictions between the economic theory and the practice on the ground. And on the other hand, the economic values and the social values. It is being said that profits cannot be taxed, but profits have soared during the period of the pandemic. There are people who have gone from being millionaires to becoming billionaires. And at the other end of the spectrum, as Professor Mukhopadhyay narrated, people have trudged hundreds of miles to reach their homeland. The question is, how long will society tolerate this? When there is a contradiction, as the one Professor Mukhopadhyay referred to, in late 20s, where economies collapsed like ninepins, economic theory had to be altered. Keynes came out with a way to reform capitalism. There was no socialism at that time, which would be accepted in Soviet Union, an alternative, a viable alternative elsewhere. People had to wait till eruption of the war and end of the Second World War for further spread of socialism. Then socialism became a completely almost dirty word. And we have been told that liberalization and globalization is the panacea for all ills. 30 years we have experienced in India liberalization, globalization, but healthcare has not seen any of these things. Again, Professor Jeevan Mukhopadhyay has to point out the lack of planning as the result of this dire state of affairs of our hospitals and healthcare. So friends, the time has come. The social ills also which have pervaded and which are harboring within our various countries and societies, those also have to be taken head on, and a major transformation of the world is possible and has to be undertaken. This is our message from the School of Social Sciences. Thank you, Professor Jeevan Mukhopadhyay, for your thought-provoking video presentation.